about what you actually want from your body as you get older. Is it about a number on the scales, or fitting into a certain size, or even one of your favourite items of clothing, or even one of your favourite items of clothing? Or is it something much deeper? Maybe it's about being able to keep up with your children, feeling confident when you walk into a room, or having the energy to go on adventures. I think somewhere along the lines, maybe in the 90s and the noughties, fitness became very focused on how we look, what we wear, when actually there might be a little bit more to it. So today we're going to be thinking about true vitality, and that's about how we live, how we feel, and how we can show up every single day as we choose. So let's see if vitality is actually what we want. Hello and welcome to the Happy Thriving Mums podcast, the show that talks about the challenges women face whilst navigating motherhood and perimenopause. Family life is often far from perfect, but this podcast aims to help mums reconnect with themselves, find the magic amongst the mess, and offer simple ways to prioritise their own health, fitness and wellbeing to allow them to truly thrive. And it doesn't stop there. This show also includes amazing stories from remarkable women who help others to be the best version of themselves and dare you to truly believe that your dream life is available to you. Because it is. We only get one life. There'll be incredible moments and challenging ones, but how we choose to show up matters. So grab a coffee or a tea, take a moment for yourself, and let's navigate this journey together. Welcome back to the Happy Thriving Mums podcast. I'm Amanda, your host, and I am going to be talking today about an area of fitness which maybe isn't really spoken about very much really anymore, or maybe never has it really been covered, but that's what we're going to talk about today. And this is the idea of vitality. So I think at the moment in the kind of perimenopause space, women's fitness space, there is a lot of focus on strength training. And strength training is absolutely vital to ensuring that we are as strong as we can be, as fit as we can possibly be. And it has so many important benefits to offset what happens as we age and as we go through perimenopause, because it can help with our bone density, our muscle mass. It can even help with our confidence and the way we look and the way we think about ourselves. But even though that is completely vital and we should be doing that regularly, I want to talk about something slightly different. And I don't want you to think that this is something extra to add to the to-do list, or I should be doing this or I should be doing that. But it's more to think about kind of something to add to the toolkit as we get older. Because I actually genuinely believe what I'm going to talk to you about today is of equal importance to strength training and having a healthy heart and healthy lungs, because we definitely need all of those things, and they are crucial to aging well, to living independently, and to be able to show up as the person that we want to be. But I want us to think about this concept of vitality. Vitality isn't just about being strong, but it's also about capability and confidence and being able to cope in different situations in a way that allows us just to almost laugh as if something goes wrong. And I'm going to explain this a little bit more as we go on. So it's not just about looking fit, it's about feeling fit, about feeling alive, about moving in a way where you don't have to worry, you don't have to think. It's about standing up whilst or after sitting on the sofa without groaning or creaking. It's about finding just like normal everyday challenges, everyday things, everyday tasks that we need to do, just normal, just easy. And it's about being able to like chase after the kids if you want to. It's about being able to scoop up all the bags off the floor, all the shopping, all of those things, running without fear, and being able just to like reach a little bit further without worrying about, can I do this, or is that going to hurt, or am I going to regret that the next day? It's that kind of thing. So today we're going to look at 3 different, what I call vitality markers, which I believe are crucial to help us maintain a resilient body as we move through midlife. So for me, these 3 markers, or these 3 they're kind of components of fitness, I guess you could call them, are speed, sharpness, and balance. So I'm going to explain what I mean by these and how they are really beneficial within just daily life. Because I think when we have these three things and we can use them well, they make everything a lot easier. So I want us to think of a goal that we might have isn't about adding years to your life, but more about the idea of adding life to your years. Because maybe you do want to live to be 100. I know I would love to live to be 100, but to be 100, I don't want to just be like an old, creaky 100-year-old woman who's sat in an armchair, never moves, just like sucks sweets and just watches daytime TV. I don't want to be that person. No offense to anyone that does want to be that person or is living that life and loving it. Good on you. But for me, I would love to be 100, but I would still love to be running around. I would love to be doing my own shopping. I would love to be able to like pick up my grandchildren, my great grandchildren even, and sit on the floor and play with them and be like free and easy. And I know that the likelihood is, because of aging and all of that, maybe I won't get to be as freely mobile as maybe I'd hope. But I do believe that there are so many things that we can do to move towards that dream rather than have it as an absolute like one in a million chance. So what does vitality really mean? So when we are in our 40s, I think people think about fitness in very certain ways. And I know this is stereotypical, but I think people think about the conversation which focuses on weight. What weight are we right now? What weight might we like to be? Maybe we've never returned to pre-baby weight, which has been a goal. And I know so many women like have that in their mind. They'd love to be back to their body before they had children. Maybe the conversation is more focused on calories and calorie intake, and what I take in is what I burn, and maybe I'm eating too much, maybe I'm not moving enough, or maybe you just don't even think about it and you know that deep down that is maybe a conversation that you do need to have with yourself, but you've never quite got there for whatever reason. Maybe your focus on wellness is focusing upon fat loss, or maybe the conversation is about your hormones and what's going on and you don't know what to do. So these were really, really common. And I think when you are in your 40s, when you are a mum, we often think directly about those things, about losing weight, about how much we weigh, about what we're eating and what we're not eating and what we should be eating. And it all just becomes like so overwhelming. There's so many different factors to take into consideration. And quite often, because you're so tired, you feel a bit frazzled, the kids are maybe playing up, or maybe you're just having a tough time at work or at home or with your parents or whatever it is, that we forget to focus on any of the facts. There are so many things we can do to nourish ourselves well, to eat well, all of those things. We go into survival mode. And that can be really problematic, because in survival mode, we are doing just that. We are often not eating as good as we should be. We're not moving as much as we would like to. We are just focusing on or feeling the stress that is amongst us through just modern living and getting by. And so we don't have the headspace to focus on things which are actually going to make us feel really good. And what I'm going to try and suggest today and invite you to consider is, despite all of these things, despite the stress, despite maybe your fears of body image, self-confidence, knowing that maybe you need to lose a little bit of weight to try and help you feel that little bit better, I just want you to remember that your body has been through so much, regardless of the shape it is in right this minute and your feelings towards it. Your body is incredible. It deserves love, it deserves kindness, and it deserves support, just like you try and do for your children, for your partner, for those that you love around you. Because I think quite often we get caught up in the idea of we are trying to ensure that everybody around us is well fed and watered and moving and doing all the things. We forget about that for ourselves as well. And we treat ourselves very differently to how we would treat those that we love. So you should be the person that you love the most in your life. If you show yourself love, then you will feel better, and everybody else around you will also reap the benefits of that self-love. So let's be kind to ourselves. Let's love our bodies, and let's remember that your body is something to live through. It is what carries you through your days. It is your vehicle to get wherever you need to go, physically, but also mentally. It allows you to hug your children, to walk with friends, to try new things, to travel, to play, to explore, all the things that you need to do. And as we move through perimenopause and beyond, one of the most empowering things that we can do is focus on capability and our body being capable to do all the things that we want to do in an amazing way. So I'd love us to try and move away from the whole, how do I look? And, oh, I can't believe that I can't fit into that. And, oh, I should be doing this. Focus more on what can I do? How do I feel? And how much confidence do I have in my body? Because when we focus on these things and we realize what we can do, you feel so alive. And this is where vitality comes in. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to talk about 3 different vitality markers, which I think are crucial to allow us to feel this alive feeling, to notice how capable we are, and to allow us to move through our days with ease, with confidence, and without that feeling of, oh God, I feel a bit uncomfortable here and I'm a bit worried how this is going to end up. So the first marker I want us to think about is speed. So you might be thinking, speed, really? I am not trying to be an athlete. I do not need to run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds. Although, let's face it, that would be a very useful thing to do. I'm always often very late for things. So if I could do that, that would be like an absolute game changer. But that aside, it's not about being an athlete. It's not about running down the road as fast as you can. It is about the ability to react quickly. So speed is defined in 2 different ways. It can be the time that it takes to get from one place to another place, so how quickly you can move from A to B. But it is also the speed at which you can move a body part. So this could be, if you think about something in everyday life, if somebody knocks a glass and you can see it's about to fall to the floor, how quickly you can move to catch that glass. Or if one of the kids knocks something, or if a dog knocks, my dog crazy, bumps into stuff and something falls on the floor. It's about the ability to react quickly to stop something falling. It could be changing direction quickly. It could be like when do you ever do that thing where you are going downstairs and you don't realise you've got to the bottom step and you do that kind of like fake step, and it's the ability to react to that. It might be, this is classic in my household, the ability to all of a sudden you realise you're about to step on something, usually a bit of Lego. How painful is that? And you quickly move your foot out the way so you don't step on the Lego and you step on the flat floor instead. So that is how speed can be used on like a daily basis, and you use it all the time, you just don't realise. But it actually allows us to confidently move through the world. Just as an aside, a little interesting fact. Did you know that around 95%, I think it's 95%, I might get this 1 or 2% out, but about 95% of adults over the age of 30 will never sprint at full capacity, full speed again. Isn't that nuts? If you think as a kid, like how often you would literally run as fast as you can to get pretty much anywhere, especially if it was exciting, they'd be like flat out running. As an adult, once you've hit 30, you're probably never really going to sprint again. And obviously, for most of us, we don't have a need to sprint, but sprinting and doing some kind of high impact movement like that is actually really, really good for your bones and your bone density. But as I said, that's just an aside. And I'm not saying that you need to be able to be doing your sprinting flat out every day or ever again if you so choose. But we do need to have this ability to move quickly in a necessary situation. So speed is linked to power, and it's also linked to reaction time, so the amount of time it takes to respond to a stimulus. And therefore, we need speed in our life because there are times when we need to react to something. Maybe like your kid is about to cross the road and they haven't looked properly and you have to grab them, or any of the other things that I suggested a minute ago. As we age, we do naturally lose speed if we don't challenge or practice being quick. It's that kind of whole, if you don't use it, you lose it. But the good news is, no matter what our age, our bodies are so capable of adapting. So if you do actually do a few things within your day which allow you to practice speedy movements, then you can get this ability to respond to things quickly back again. So a couple of things you can try and just put into your day. Simple ways to improve your speed can include just doing some fast bursts of walking. So if you are out walking with your kids or walking the dog or just trying to get from A to B, if you just every now and then intersperse a kind of like burst of speed, a quicker walk, or if you wanted to, you could do a little run or race your kids, something like that. That can really help. But it also doesn't have to be something like a run. It could just be a short, fast burst of movement. So it could be just like dancing for a couple of seconds, like really quickly. You know, that kind of like old school, like dance bop that you might have done, or dancing to a rave song that maybe you used to love from the past. It could also be doing something like a little throwing and catching game with your kids where you are throwing a ball and you have to respond to where the ball is, like dodgeball or something in the garden. That can help you retrain for speed, trying to move, dodge things quickly. Or it can be some kind of power-based exercise in a workout. So lifting something quickly, moving something quickly, jumping. These are all speed activities and they can all help you train or retrain the speed that you maybe had when you were younger, but just because you haven't used it for a long time, it doesn't feel like it's there anymore. So you don't need to train like an athlete. I'm not saying do sprint training, sprinting up hills, doing like 30, 100-meter sprints on a daily basis. But it's just little activities or little actions like this just to remind your body that you still need to have this ability and it is helpful in your daily life. So, marker 2 is something called sharpness. So sharpness is more than physical fitness, and it does link in with speed a little bit. It's about your brain staying connected with your body. So it can be linked to reaction time, as I mentioned, which is a little bit reacted to speed. And I'm not talking about like going on the bee of the bang and the gun on a 100-meter sprint in the parents' race on sports day. But it's about reacting to things going on around you. It's about having coordinated movement. It's about staying like switched on and alert. And these kind of activities allow your brain to be challenged, and it allows your brain to connect to your body and for them to work together. So sharpness is really, really valuable. It could be linked to something called dual tasking, where you have the ability to do two things at once. This is different from multitasking. Obviously, multitasking is being able to do lots of different things all at the same time. But sometimes there is some evidence to say that multitasking is actually not that good for you. It's like having too many tabs open on your computer. But dual tasking is massively important, because if you think about maybe even like cooking dinner, you're dual tasking because you're maybe watching a timer in the oven while stirring something on the hob. And that's doing two things at once. Driving with dual tasking constantly. So we do need to be able to have this sharpness about us so that we can react like to an emergency stop in the car, or we can react to something which is happening around us. So these kind of things, being able to coordinate our movements, coordinate ourselves, be able to react to what is going on around us, is really important for our brain health as well. And we want to have good cognitive function as we age, because our brains are still so important to every single thing that we do. And as we age and our estrogen is fluctuating, estrogen is responsible for so many things going on in our brain. And so our brain health can start to go a bit wobbly, shall we say. So training our brain, using our brain, coordinating our movements is really important. And different ways to help us stay sharp can actually be really, really fun. So tap dancing is meant to be amazing for this, because we've got the dual tasking of beating your feet, but also listening to music and keeping in time. So that is meant to be amazing. And there is evidence to say dancing, and tap dancing in particular, are really good to help prevent Alzheimer's. And it's really fun, and it's really good for stress relief because you get to stamp and jump and make a lot of noise all at the same time. Other things as well, which can be really good to help with your sharpness, is learning a new skill. So it could be like learning an instrument is fantastic for this. Or maybe like you decide to take up a new sport, learning something like that, or a new hobby. Knitting, for example, is meant to be brilliant for this because you're having to focus on different things at the same time, but also it's so rhythmic and relaxed that it's really good for your brain and relaxation. It could be playing games. It could be doing something that requires coordination, juggling, and all these things you can fit into your day just like as fun activities. It doesn't have to be a proper training session, but the more you do them, the more you switch your brain on. And it has been shown as well that our brain can still make new connections with nerves as we age. So your brain loves novelty. Learning something new, giving your nervous system a bit of a challenge is amazing. And your body thrives when you continually are asking it to adapt. And I'm not saying this in a stress overwhelm way, because that is a different thing and that doesn't quite work the same way. But incorporating activities which are fun, which challenge your brain and your body together, are brilliant for helping regain sharpness within the brain for your mind, but also just enjoyable. And the kids love it too, so you can get them involved. My third marker, which I think is really important in feeling that you have great vitality, is your balance. And this is linked to something called your vestibular system. So your vestibular system might be a new term for some of you, but it is the system that you find in your inner ear, it's linked to your ear, that helps your brain understand where your body is in space and the space around you. So it helps your balance, it helps your coordination, and it also helps you and gives you a sense of confidence when you are moving. So my sisters have always told me for a long time, because I'm quite tall, that my brains have never quite got down to my feet, and that's why maybe I'm a little bit clumsy, and I was going to say fall over a lot. I don't really say much anymore, maybe because I know my balance is better now. But yeah, I've always had kind of a bit of a clumsy nature. But this vestibular system is really important to help you with your balance, coordination, and therefore, as I said, the confidence that you feel when you're moving. And this becomes increasingly important as we get older, because, as you know, as we age, our bodies can become more frail if we don't do anything about it. But if we do our strength training, as we mentioned already, we look at our speed of movements, we look at our sharpness, and we address our balance, then we can actually start to move with more confidence within ourselves. And if you feel more confident in your body and you trust your balance, you will also move more, which is an amazing thing. And that is so important, because when you move more, you build more strength, and therefore, again, you build more confidence. It's like a circle that goes around. It becomes a positive cycle. So if you train your balance, it also is really helpful as we age, because there is some terrifying stats out there linked to, if you are much older, you fall over, there is high chance of fractures, particularly in your hips, because your bones are less dense, your muscles are not strong, and you're not as able to support your body. If you can improve your bone density, improve your muscle strength, all of those things I mentioned already, but also practice and improve your balance, you are in a much better situation and have a much better chance of not being frail, of having more confidence in your body, and really just like going about your day like an absolute boss. So how can you train your balance? Really simple. Doing something like, when you're brushing your teeth, stand on one leg. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but it's again this dual tasking thing. By brushing your teeth, you do it every single day. Practicing your balance, you're gonna just like marry those two things together, habit stack, and this is gonna really help you. And remember, you must do both sides. You don't want to just have one side which is much better than the other. You should do this on both sides. So balance on your right leg for 30 seconds and then swap to your left leg. But that's a really good thing to do. Another one is, this sounds a bit crazy, walking in a straight line. So find a line, so maybe you've got decking, that's really good for this, and do, it's called heel-toe walking. So place one foot and then place the other foot's heel right in front of the toe and walk along a line like that. If you can do that, that's actually really good for balance. If you can do that easily, try and do it on your tiptoes. If you can do that easily, then you can even do it this is quite advanced, with your eyes closed and see how you get on. So these are just easy ways to practice your balance. It could also be doing yoga or mobility work. This is really good for balance, and all those different postures really help you build your core as well. So these are all really great ways just to train your balance. And again, they can be really fun, and you can do them with the kids and just fit them in your day. Just by doing a little bit here and there, you can really make a great big difference. So balance isn't something we have or we don't have. Again, like with speed, like with sharpness, it's just something we need to practice. So as we come to close today, I just want to remind you that movement is so important to everything that we do. And it is really about finding these vitality markers and using them to make you feel good, to enjoy them, because they are actually really fun things to do. So next time you think about fitness, and if you don't want to do a workout, or if you don't want to go for a run or a bike ride or a swim or whatever it is, maybe think, actually, maybe I'll do something a little bit different today. I don't have to do something that is burning hundreds of calories. I don't need to fix my body. I don't need to work harder. Actually, maybe I can move in a playful way, which gives some really important results. So it can be doing this with the kids. It can be connecting with other people. It can just be moving in a way which celebrates your body, dancing, just having fun. And I think that this is what many of us lose sight of, especially when we are pushed for time. We think, I need to do the thing which is going to give me the biggest result. And sometimes that thing isn't actually something which is helpful to us or makes us feel good. Because if we do something that does make us feel good, we're likely to do it again and again and again, and we get more benefit from it. So if we can try to focus on play, to explore, to see what actually makes us feel confident and capable, we might be more likely to do more of it. So I really encourage you, I invite you to practice your speed, practice your balance, practice that brain and body connection, reaction times, things like that. Because these are all skills that we need to live an independent life. And this isn't just in our 40s or our 50s. This is in our 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, when we reach 100. And doing them can be really fun as well. So I just want you to think about this. What would it feel like to build a body that you really, really trust? Not a perfect body, not a younger body, but a really capable body. A body that allows you to say yes to experiences and that isn't scared to move in certain ways in case it hurts or it feels uncomfortable. A body that really supports the woman that you are becoming, because vitality isn't about chasing youth. It's about creating a life where you feel strong, you feel confident, and you feel alive. So remember, the goal isn't about adding years to your life necessarily. It's about adding life to your years. And who doesn't want to do that? We want to live a fun life. So if today's episode resonated with you, I'd love you to follow, leave a review, or share it with another mum who might need to hear this too. Because remember, thriving isn't about feeling happy all the time. It's about building the habits, the strength, and the resilience that help you moving forwards, even when life feels messy. Have a brilliant day, and I'll speak to you again soon.